Welcome back to the Daily Dribble podcast, guys. As always, I'm your host, Nick Zammett. I'm joined here tonight by Mr. Liam Hancock.
Lee, how's it going?
And Mr. Ro Hancock.
How we going, guys?
Boys, the NBA Finals are finally here. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. It's been the build-up of 82 games and 3 playoff series, 3 rounds, should I say, so far. We have finally made it. Boston against Golden State. Right, how excited are you? First and foremost, we'll get into the result of...
I want to know what's going through Ro's mind, because I can't even imagine how thrilled I'd be if, say, the Hornets got through. How's it feel having your team in the NBA Finals?
Yeah, and not only that, pinching game 1 on the road.
On the road.
It's been a long time coming, hasn't it? First time in the finals since I think 2010 was the last time we were in there.
Unbelievable.
But let me just...
Wow, isn't it crazy to think what you were doing in 2010? I was... grade 6, I think, of primary school.
Grade 10 for me, but...
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Lee, what were you, grade 3 then?
I don't know.
Wow.
Let me just say, though, quickly, I want to assure people the lid is on. The lid is tight, and we're not undoing it. No. So,
what's this refer to? I am not following.
Like you're keeping the lid on the hype.
Not getting ahead of myself. Not getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. No, it's good. We will get the game one shortly, but a huge result there for the Beantown boys and for yourself, Ro.
It is, yes.
Big episode, guys. As we said, we'll rip through some couple of quick odds and ends from the NBA and the NBL. We'll then just quickly discuss what transpired in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll touch on that Game 1 of today's NBA Finals, hot off the press as we speak, and then have another installment of Draft Deep Dive, where once again, all three of us are praying that we don't have the same player, but nevertheless, looking forward to kind of delving into some of these prospects once again, as we did from last week.
I'm smiling right now, Nick.
I was about to say, why are you smiling so much?
You're a bit fond of Road, and you're sitting awfully close to him.
Yeah, come in tighter, mate. Come in a bit tighter then. There's plenty of love to go around. That's better, isn't it? Put your arm around me. Isn't that better?
Okay. This is a very close and sensual start to the episode.
I like it.
How I feel. Should we just stay like this for the rest of the app?
I actually kind of like it. We got the camera a little bit closer today. It's very, it's very in your face. It's good. Give the people what they want, more of us.
Absolutely.
Guys, big shout out to the Spotlight Sports Network, the Pop Culture Pros, and the Cover. We certainly appreciate being a part of all 3 of those networks. Awesome to be a part of 2 networks, Pop Culture Pros and the Spotlight Sports Network, based in the US. And then for our main man, Liam McGrath there at the Cover here in Australia. Wicked to be a part of those 3 networks, and certainly appreciate all that all 3 are doing.
Thanks, guys.
Guys, be sure to like, subscribe, share wherever you listen to the show. We certainly appreciate it. Check out all of our socials: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. Look at Lee's. Oh, that was quite clean from you on the fingers there. So do all that good stuff. We do certainly appreciate it. I'll save it for a couple of weeks' time. Got some news on the way, but I'll share that in the next fortnight, hopefully.
Save it.
Guys, let's get into odds and ends. Just a couple of quick ones to rip through here. Now, what's a team that we probably spoke about arguably the most this year, but haven't spoken about in a few weeks? Quite a few weeks. They've become almost irrelevant.
Lakers?
The Lakers, absolutely. So a bit of Lakers talk here, lads.
Go ahead.
During the week, they appointed Bucks assistant coach Darvin Ham as their new head coach on a 4-year deal. Fantastic there. He's been assistant with the Lakers in the past, with the Hawks and the Bucks over the last 10 seasons. So it's awesome to see him kind of get his opportunity in a top job, and arguably maybe the toughest job going around.
Not the name I thought was going to take the role.
What a name, Darvin Ham.
Not a name I can say, to be honest, that I've heard before. I don't know, have you guys?
Yeah. I've heard of him, absolutely.
Darvin Ham,
more so in a little bit with his time in the Lakers, but more so his stint with the Bucks there. Was quite a prominent feature there on the sideline.
I want to get your thoughts, Nick, but from my personal perspective, I really like this acquisition of the Lakers. They could have done the typical Lakers thing and just gone for the biggest name or the most highly publicized head coach on the market. But they've gone a bit lower key with
Lakers
this one.
Making headlines.
That's
not like that.
No, absolutely not. No. Not in Tinseltown. But I actually really like it. And for Darvin Ham, really well deserved. He's one of these guys who you just get the feeling is really highly respected within the league. And I think LeBron was very happy with the acquisition. I think he had a tweet or an Instagram post or something along the lines, and you could tell he may have had something to do with that acquisition as well.
What I like just quickly out of this news is the fact it's a 4-year deal. Gives him time, almost a little bit of job security that he's not, he's not on the hot seat right away. It's not a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal. He has got time there to, I was going to say build something. You can't really build when you got LeBron. It's go for it. But it's awesome that he's got a bit of an opportunity now. And a guy, as I said, he's done 10 years as an assistant coach. Awesome to see him get his opportunity. So certainly looking forward to seeing what their off-season entails. And the march to hopefully back into the NBA Finals next year. In other coaching news, the Cavs have signed Luke Walton as an assistant coach there under JB Bickerstaff. Came off his stint as a head coach with the Lakers, then with the Kings. Hopefully now he'll get a bit of a chance to experience success, because when he was with the Lakers, they were pretty mediocre. The Kings, they are the king of mediocrity. So hopefully now, they've assembled now a bit of a, not only on court, the team, Darius Garland leading, Evan Mobley. They've got pieces on the court, but also off the court. Now, JB Bickerstaff has been tremendous. And for all the flack that we give Luke Walton and, what he's done, hopefully in that kind of that backup role, assistant coach, he might be able to flourish and, help aiding what Bickerstaff's doing there in Cleveland.
I mean, how good would Luke Walton be feeling at the moment? Because to go from the head coach of a absolutely mediocre team such as the Sacramento Kings and have all the blame sent his way, which I think is probably, not fair given what he had to work with there. But then to go to the Cavs, who have got so much hope going forward.
So much hope, Lee.
Also, the fact that...
Look at his enthusiasm there. Not much hope there at all.
Not much there. But also the fact that he's an assistant coach. He won't be copying the flack even if they do perform badly. So I think he can sleep a bit easier at night, old Lukey Walton.
Lukey Walton wears suits to the game, no?
Yeah.
He does, yeah.
You got a problem with that?
No, I love it.
Don't get Nick started on this.
This is a deep rabbit hole here. But what is it with... I love suits. Do you
I didn't say, I just asked.
No, just on a different tangent. Do you like wearing a suit?
I don't pull out of suits too often, but I like when head coaches wear suits.
I can't imagine Lee in a suit.
Yeah, neither can. I don't know if I've ever seen you in a suit. Right? You a suit guy?
I don't mind a suit.
Yeah.
In terms of NBA coaches, depends who's in that suit.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't want to see David Fizdale in a suit.
Why? Why? He's built for a suit. I'd like to see Eric Spoelstra in a suit.
Oh,
yes.
No.
He does it every now and again.
Yeah,
I love polo top Spoelstra, but suit Spoelstra just... it's got a different air about him. Maybe it's the tan. It goes really well with the colour suits he wears, that navy.
Real quick, worst NBA draft suit. I've got two in mind that come straight off the bat. One is Trae Young in his formal shorts. And two is the sponsored Kevin Knox Fortnite.
Both of them are pretty ordinary. The whole 2003 draft class.
Couldn't have summed it up better.
So baggy.
Yeah. What? I love the baggy look. No,
you like that with your closed full stop period. The baggy clothes. I like that.
That was the best draft class.
They weren't tailored.
I loved them.
In other news, today the news came out, I believe, but Nike founder Phil Knight and LA Dodgers part owner Alan Smolinski, I had to look at that one a couple of times this morning. They've delivered a written offer of $2 billion to acquire, or to buy, should I say, the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, I love this. Anyone who's not familiar with Phil Knight, founder of Nike, actually, grew up there in Oregon, is a huge part of that Portland area. And, it's really where Nike started, was founded. So I think this is a fantastic move. I think it's awesome to have some big power players backing your franchise.
Yes.
And, just partly because I love Phil Knight. I don't know if you guys have read the book Shoe Dog.
I haven't read it. I did
I've got it. I'm more than happy to lend it to you guys.
I'll take you up on that one. I've heard really good things from you, I think, Nick.
Incredible read, just, hearing the origins about Nike and how it started out at the back of a boot, and now none of us have. Oh, you've got the pants on, but
I've got the pants.
The power of that little swish, incredible. Billion dollar company, but, I'm a huge fan of everything he's done, so I would love to see it.
Yep. Just quickly, is D-Lil associated with Adidas?
Yes, yeah.
How's that going to go down?
Down like a lead balloon, I reckon. Down like a lead balloon.
I don't know about that.
What do you reckon? I reckon if this does, come to life, I reckon old Phil Knight will be in his ear. Dame Dollar, it's time to shape up and get the swish on.
I think so.
And I would love it too.
Oh, so would I.
Be here for it.
So basically, did we hear throughout the week that I think it was only released yesterday that LeBron James is now worth $1 billion? So he's worth half of the Portland Trail Blazers franchise.
Isn't that crazy? He should be a co-owner and just put in an offer just to buy them. I own your ass. I'm going to own your franchise too. How about that, Lee?
Worth $1 billion. Does that mean that's his net worth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's only rising.
Oh, absolutely. Doing phenomenal things there, the king. Lads, that's all from NBA. Let's move ahead to the NBL. A couple of quick points here. Speaking of the Kings, the reigning NBL finalists, shout out to the boys from the 5th and Dribble. I'm sure still riding the high after that one.
Don't rub it in too much, please.
They're losing title-winning player Tom Vodanovic to the New Zealand Breakers, where he started his career. He's returning there on a 2-year deal. Well, a bit of news for you.
Okay. Yep.
On a 3-year deal, they have re-signed public enemy number 1, Dejan Vasiljevic, on a 3-year deal. Now, I tell you what, for as much flack as we gave this guy, DJ, him getting death threats and everything of the kind, that was horrible. Bit of a dick. Yeah. He was a bit of a dick. But you love that. Yeah. I cannot fault the heart this guy plays with.
Absolutely.
He wears it all on his sleeve. I really think, just from watching him in person a couple of times, I think he's ready to take that leap. He kind of took a bit of a backseat with Jalen Adams, Jarrell Martin. I reckon we're going to see him averaging close to 20 points a game next season. That's an early pick, between 17 to 20. I think he's really ready. It was just above 15, or was it 15 the year before last? It was down to about 13 this year, but I think he's going to be up around 17. 25 years old now. He's starting to enter that prime, and the confidence he would have, the swagger he's got now, I reckon he's ready to bowl out.
Well, he's definitely got the potential, doesn't he? And
huge.
One thing that we do know with DJ is he steps up in the huge moments. So even if he doesn't reach those heights, we still know that he's going to be one of these guys that you love on your team. And if he's not on your team, you despise him.
You love to hate him, and the league needs people like that. It's good. I was watching a thing with a little interview Pitbull did this morning, like
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide, it's like us. It came up in one of these business pages on Instagram, and he was saying, if people aren't hating you, you're not doing it right. So, you want people talking about you. Any chat is good chat. So.
But I think DJ also feeds off that.
Do we feed off that? Do we want our haters to reach out to us, give us hell?
No, I'd prefer a few likes and a few followers and whatnot.
No hate.
No
hate around here.
Not at this point of our career. Jeez.
We got thick skin here, us 3 boys, don't we, Lee?
Yeah, that's it.
In other exciting news, I'm really, really happy with this, and I know it's a player you and I have spoken about this year. The Cairns Taipans have resigned star import Tajir McCall on a 2-year deal. Now, this guy did it all. He's really overtaken Scott Machado as the leader of that team. 16 points, 4 rebounds, 5.5 assists this season. Just so dynamic. Such a fun player to watch. And, the Taipans were a pretty ordinary team, but he was
a shining light.
Must-watch TV. So, awesome to see that.
And Machado going down early in the season was probably a blessing in disguise.
They weren't a top 4 team. They weren't making the final, so it was good to see him
flourish. Yeah, absolutely.
So looking forward to seeing what next season in the NBL entails, lads. Let's move ahead.
The Daily Dribble.
Give us a smile.
I want one seamless one.
No, you're not going to get it. Wishful thinking. Let's start with the Eastern Conference Game 7 here. Now, this was, I don't know about you, Ro, but a bit of a sweat on you there, mate, through that one.
Yes. Oh, dear.
We nearly jinxed it. We nearly completely jinxed it. We were so confident that Boston was just going to take that next one, and they did not.
Yeah, Game 6, I tell you what, we were it would have been awful to have to retract pretty much everything we said.
Yep.
They won Game 7, though, 100-96. You know what I loved in this one? I saw coming out the day or two after, Tatum sending Kobe Bryant a text message before the game saying, I got you today.
Yep.
Would have been bad if he hadn't have.
Yeah, shit. Well, he dropped 26 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists.
He did.
Brown and Smart each had 24 points each. Big-time performances there. And it was just kind of one of those games that was, they left it all on the line.
Yeah.
No more so than Marcus Smart.
Oh, Smart.
Put up a post during the week. Check out our socials. It was on Instagram and Facebook, this one. Man, tell you what, if you guys hadn't lost this, he would have been crucified. He put up 22 shots, more than Brown and Tatum. Most shots on the team. It was kind of just one of those things. You got to know your role a little bit.
Hey, Marcus Smart, you won by 4, but why are you taking the last 5 shots for your team in the game?
Man,
you are not a closer.
Yeah.
I don't care how much.
That's not you.
I don't care how much you've grown confidence-wise in the league offensively. Do not take the last 5 shots of the game.
We need that. We need a sound clip of that guy. You remember that guy who was like, "You're not that guy."
I love that guy.
You're not that guy, Marcus.
You're not that guy.
He is not that guy. And he had some really wide open threes as well. But even so, you're not that guy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? And I think going into today's series, kind of mentioned a key was him getting 15 to 20 points, as a high watermark, but in the flow of the offense, not taking unnecessary shots. You kind of hang your hat. You're the defensive player of the year. That's where you make your money. That's where the bread is made. But that was just a little bit too gun high. They got over the line, but it's something you would want to just see addressed for this series and going forward.
I think so, but take nothing away from Smoke.
Nothing away from
Smoke. Now, I want to get your thoughts on, and I'm sure you're just about to touch on it, Nick, Jimmy Butler's pull-up three to potentially win that game.
Got the rebound, down 2, 19 seconds to go. Jimmy has sprinted the floor, and with 16.6 seconds, so in pretty much two and a half seconds, nailed up the floor. I had this in mind.
I want to hear what you say, because I'm ready if you say
let's say something you don't agree with. You're ready to go.
He's got his rebuttal.
Here it is, and this is a thing we've mentioned quite a lot when we play 2K.
Yes.
Do you go for the quick three, power up the floor, and try and make it rain, or do you play sensible, go for the tie? I think in this instance, he went too quick.
Okay.
I think even if they went for the 3, take a little more time. Go for the 2 if you have to, but I think the key is he went up in 2.5 seconds. No one else is really with him. If he misses, no one's there to get the board. You've got to have bodies there at least anticipating a miss to get that board. No one there with him playing it the way he did.
Yep. Okay.
He kind of said he and his teammates liked that shot. He was happy with it, but I think not having help up there on the offensive board was a killer.
Yeah. And pretty much on the polar opposite side, I liked the shot. I thought it was a good shot. It was a fatigue shot, definitely, but he was open, and Al Horford was in retreat mode. He was going to defend the paint. Now, is
that the guy you want on the 3 ball?
Like when Jimmy Butler? Listen, people say he could have gone for the 2. People say he could have driven. People say he could have slowed down. Jimmy Butler didn't want to go to OT. He was tired. The whole Heat team was tired. They were so fatigued. He wanted to close that game out. And the reality of the shot is you miss some and you make some. And this one, he missed.
Well, if you're so tired, good luck to him now because he's on holiday in Cancun.
But he knew if he got a 2 and tied it and they went to OT, he knew that they weren't going to make it out on top.
So the thing is, in real time, when I was watching this, I thought for all money that was going down.
Imagine if it did, it'd be a legacy shot.
I just thought the way that last 5 minutes was going, the Heat had all the momentum. Boston Celtics did their absolute best to lose that game. And the way that things were going in that game, I would have not been surprised at all if he had netted that. Lucky he didn't. And,
would have been absolute scenes if he did.
I can see both sides of the argument as to why he should have and why he shouldn't have. But I think Jimmy's the only one who won't be crucified for taking that shot. I think if that was anyone
points,
else,
9 rebounds.
Yeah, absolutely. He played his heart out.
The shot from Strus, that 3-point wasn't a good shot either, but he got
at that point. It was It's a funny one, isn't it? Like, let's touch on Jimmy Butler for a second. This guy is similar to Draymond Green. They're 7-game players. They're playoff players. They're not. Jimmy Butler in a regular season's not a guy you wouldn't even consider him a top 10. He's probably more around that top 15 to 20 guy within the league. In playoffs, he dials it up. He looks like a top 3 player within the league. The only problem with him, we've seen like what his low bar is. It's under 10 points in the playoffs, a couple of games where he's really misfired. And we've seen that high mark, plus 40 points, putting the team on his shoulders. Is he the guy to lead this franchise next season to a title? Like, are they there?
I think
him
so.
At the helm?
I think so. Yep. I think they'll be back at the pointy end again next year. And I think Jimmy Butler is everything you want out of a leader. In every aspect of the word leader, Jimmy Butler lives up to it.
And you know what? He's looking forward. He's looking forward to next year already. There's no rearview mirrors in his car, is there, Lee?
No, it's not.
Real ones, no.
For you, do you think, Lee, for yourself, do you think the Heat maybe not hard done by, but the way the injuries fell, Hero going down, Kyle Lowry looked like a shell of himself, Butler as well. Do you think injuries caught up with him a little bit there?
I'd say so, but you look at the things you can control and you look at the things you can't control. You can't control the injuries and who's out and who's in on a specific game. But
do you think that's what did it to him?
I don't think that's why Kyle Lowry played awful. I think that's something that is in your control and that you need to look on and work on. I don't think injuries was why Duncan Robinson didn't perform.
No, man just didn't suit up. He just lost his spot.
So yeah, you look at the things you can control and you can't control, but definitely injuries played a part. I think the Boston Celtics will tire out anyone that they come up against. I think this was the case here. So that's
just a quick shout out to Al Horford.
Oh, big Al.
141 playoff games, no finals.
I thought you were going to say 141 years old. I would have done that.
I
wouldn't have batted a second arm.
No player has played more playoff games and not made the finals than him. So it was awesome for him to finally get his just desserts there. We'll speak about it shortly, but carried it over to game 1 today. What a revelation he has been.
Oh, he's been incredible.
Unbelievable, his output lately, and just the way he's going about it. He has really kind of shocked me.
Shocked everyone.
As we said, he got shut down last year for OKC. Like, just shut down totally. Finished. Goodbye with like 20 games to go. The impact he's having on this team on both ends of the floor now, his offensive output as well, it really is like, it's what we were saying, it's just gold. It's bonus. It's found money.
Absolutely. Like, he really, in all honesty, when OKC let him go, could have been out of the league. Because he's obviously in the twilight of his career, the last 9, as you would say, Nick.
Yeah, back 9.
Yeah. But, like, he was at the point where the crossroads where he could have gone to a, contending team, which he did, and absolutely bowled out, or he could have just faded off into the shadows. And it's a good shout that you bring him up as well. And because, I mean, for example, CP3 is a player who we often bring up and say, look, this guy deserves some success. He's been around for a while. He's been there or thereabouts. But Al Horford, we forget all those years that he was with Atlanta and they were contending every single year, and he was so close, and he was just an absolute pillar. Never quite got there. He's a guy who's been, I'd say, pretty underrated throughout the course of his career, and
has been.
People don't give him much of a thought in that regard. So very happy to see him, get a bit of success. Hopefully it ends up in the ultimate success, but lead on still.
Lead on. Last point on this one. What do you reckon, Lee? Do you think the Heat need to make a big piece to change things up to get over this hump? Like the last couple of years, in the finals against the Lakers in the bubble this year, just falling short in the conference finals, game 7. Do you think something big needs to change, or is it little moves around the edges?
It's little pieces. They've got their main core pretty much sorted out. But like, you don't need Duncan Robinson anymore. That's a
big contract for a guy who's not getting played.
Yeah, that's it. But I like a majority of that team. I like Maxi Strus. I like them all. So I don't think it'd be any major change.
Just quickly, what they've done in regards to Strus, in regards to Yurtseven, in regards to Gabe Vincent.
Yeah,
all these players who have kind of come from obscurity, from nothing, and now getting really quality minutes and delivering as well. It's wicked to see the Heat culture, baby.
We forget VO's on the team, Victor Oladipo.
Again, big showing from him in times throughout this series. Like, if him and Hero is that 6th, 7th man options, that's huge. Huge having that offensive firepower to come out.
Both could, in reality, be starters.
Just quickly on Victor Oladipo, I saw it pop up again today.
What, the singing?
Mask singer?
No. The guy, how much money he turned down from the Pacers. Like, was it like $120, $130 million?
Yeah, he lost a bag, didn't he?
Bet on himself and came up with peanuts. So I just saw it and I was like, I feel so bad for you. You still got heaps of money, no worries whatsoever. But just it was a lot of money to go down the gurgler.
Mate, I tell you what, at least he's not Dennis Schroeder.
Well, yeah, lost a bag. I tell you what, did you see he's got the Celtics tattoo?
Does he really?
He's actually got a big Celtics tattoo on him, Dennis Schroeder there. So
why?
From when he was with the franchise.
But he's not anymore.
No, but he's got the tattoo, so he's rooting for the boys.
That's like
Beantown boys.
Yeah, I was about to say that's like getting your girlfriend's high school girlfriend's initials tattooed on you. Not sure about that one.
Big game play. I like it.
Good. Yep.
Fellas, let's move ahead to the NBA Finals. As we said, it is finally here, the moment we've all been waiting for. As basketball fans, this is the most exciting time of the year. It really is Christmas. Game 1 today, just quickly, I saw courtside seats going up to $70,000. 70 grand for courtside.
I thought you were about to say $7,000, and even then I was like, oh, that's a bag.
70 USD.
Yeah, I would believe so.
USD.
So yeah, even ramp her up a bit
Oh.
more. Just quickly, just imagine that. Like
It's like 110K.
I
don't even.
I think I've almost lost touch with the common man this season. Even the NBL games, like a lot of the games we went to by quite luck were, for free. Due to some really handy hookups and connections, but that's
in there for free.
That's how it goes. You do a podcast, you reap the benefits. But imagine, and like I think the most expensive tickets we had courtside were like $400, $500.
Yep.
Imagine dropping 70 large.
70 large. But I guess you look on who's on the sidelines. Jay-Z's on there.
Jack Nicholson
pulls that out of his backside. Yeah. But 70 large, that's...
The common man probably won't be attending that one courtside.
I'd be in the bleachers. How much would you be paying for a bleacher seat? You'd be paying like hundreds and hundreds of
dollars.
It'd
be pretty exy still.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it'd be wicked to one day go.
Yeah,
would have been wicked to go to today's game because
yes, it would.
The Celtics on the road took the win 120 to 108. The Warriors held control earlier this game through the first quarter and a bit of the second. Steph Curry, 21 points in the first quarter, and it kind of looked like
scary.
I was
you're
so
in for a bad
frightened.
time here. Did you? Oh,
yeah, watch that. Watch that first quarter. Happened to catch that one, but Steph was on fire, and it was to the point where I was thinking, as good as we
it looked
are,
like records were going to be broken.
It looked like he was going for 60, and it looked like that we were going to. The thing is that the Celtics were still in the picture, even with Steph going off as he did, and that was key. If Steph had gone off, hit his 20 odd or whatever in the first half, and the Celtics were down by 20, then it's sort of game over for us for that night.
Well, it was a funny game because they battled back. They were up by 2 points at halftime. The Celtics came out a 38-24 quarter in the third, had the Warriors up by 12 going into the fourth, and then
say the point differential for the fourth.
What can only be described as an absolute barrage of carnage. It was carnage was unleashed. The Celtics from three were just unstoppable. Unstoppable. They won the fourth quarter 40-16.
40-16.
40-16. You are taking the piss. 40-16 on the road. Game one of the NBA Finals. It was just really incredible. Al Horford was the main kind of offensive weapon in this one. 26 points. And just quickly, I just want to make sure I get this right here.
Yes, please do.
6 of 8 from 3.
Yeah.
As a big man too, it goes underrated that he's a big man, but he gets his shot up just so fast. I think that.
Well, that was the key to the game. So the 3-point stroke, that you guys went 21 of 41 from 3, so that's at 51% compared to the Warriors 42%.
Yes,
and that was where the game was won and lost in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was a fourth quarter game.
It was absolutely startling the way this one played out. Rowe going into that fourth quarter down 12. Like I had it on at work. I was keeping up to date with it, and I thought, I think the Warriors just take care of business. They get game one. Settle the nerves, and it's pretty stock standard. If you're the Celtics, you don't feel too bad about it. Feel out game. But that was incredible. They just eviscerated that lead in no time, and then just ran with it. And kept on running like goddamn Forrest Gump. He just didn't stop. He did not stop.
Yeah. No, and particularly coming up against the Warriors, who are notoriously a good third quarter, fourth quarter team as well.
Yep.
You start to think, okay, you're down by 12 at 3-quarter time. Let's just almost put this one in the books. 12 minutes to go, but against a team like the Warriors.
I nearly put it in the books, and that's the worst thing you can do, preemptively putting it in the books.
And it's, you sort of got the feeling that, as this game came to an end, or as the third quarter came to an end, it was going to end like most people probably anticipated it would, like in game one, in San Fran.
Yeah.
You just thought the Warriors might be too good there. But to get game one on the road, finals, you just can't get any better. And it sets the rest of the series up really well now.
And you know what it does, really? It gives you a free crack at game 2.
Yeah.
Because I think in this series, if the Warriors had got both on home, as they're probably expected, I think all the pressure is on Boston, and I think it would have been too much.
Yes.
I think they had to get the split.
They did.
The fact they got the split in game 1, they just get a free crack at it game 2, really. They can just go out, play free, whatever. If they lose, who cares? We got the one we needed.
Yep.
Like, huge. And if they somehow clinch it 2-zip, going back to Boston, look out.
Look out indeed.
Holy shit.
You know, one of the good things about this win, or, you know, and the thing that I'm not sure you might have been about to touch on is the fact that Jason Tatum was, you know, shot so terribly in this
3
game.
3 of 17, 1 of 5 from 3, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 13 assists. So did a bit on the playmaking side, but in terms of shooting the ball, was putting up bricks.
But I just like the fact, touching on those 13 assists, like, able to have an impact in the game still, even if it's not a matter of sinking the buckets, which is essentially what he gets paid to do. He's still having an impact, and you know that's what you need to do.
You know what you love? You look at the Warriors. Steph there had 34 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. You know, Wiggins had 20 points. No other player had over 15, or Thompson had 15. Let's have a look at the Celtics here. I'm just going to rip through their team list. So Tatum had 12, Jaylen Brown 24, Horford 26, Marcus Smart 18, Big Rob had 8, Derek White had 21 as well, and Peyton Pritchard 8. So you got contributions. It wasn't just the Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown shows.
No.
Whereas on the other side, it was really kind of Steph, a little bit of Wiggins, a little bit of Clay, but not much else happened. But the fact that you got so many really good, valuable contributions out of a lot of players is, it really does bode well moving forward that you've got options, because my worry was, you know, the lack of offense possibly, and I thought that would be your undoing, but proved to me wrong in this game.
You just touch on D. White then. Can we just spend a little bit of time on old D. White? He has stepped up to the plate.
5 of 8 from 3 as well.
5 of 8 for 3. There
6 of 11 from the field, 21 points, 3 assists. Big.
He's a guy who, by the looks of it, you want on your team in the big moments, because he's not afraid, and he steps up to the plate when needed, particularly when these other blokes go off, whether, you know, Marcus Smart might go off for a rest, or Jaylen.
Yep.
He comes on and still keeps the tempo up, and the other thing with him is
such a big pickup.
It's a big pickup, and his IQ is through the roof. Like, he makes the right plays and takes the right shots. And, you know, you don't want these low IQ players coming off the bench in big games and, you know, essentially losing you the game or losing you the lead.
You know what would be fun? Having all the players within the league do an IQ test. Just interesting to see how it actually correlates.
Like, do you know what I think we should do? An all IQ team.
All IQ.
Yeah. I don't mind that.
I like that too. Ooh. I'm just thinking who.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who would make up my starting 5.
CP, Bron.
Bron, CP, probably.
Oh,
that's hard. That's a great question. That might be something we have to dive a little bit deeper.
Jeez, Nick.
There we go.
Did I? I've just completely.
We all knew what you meant.
Butchered that.
We all knew.
Dive a little bit deeper in the off season on that one. Good shout from you.
Yep.
You know what's scary?
What is scary?
This is Jason Tatum's worst game of the series, and they got up by 12.
Yeah, that's an ominous sign, because if he starts to click into gear and they get these continued, you know, output from the other players.
They were just like really using their strengths to their advantage, though. Like this game, Boston said, "We know we're bigger than you. We know we're stronger than you," and they got on top of that. Like you said, Curry had 21 in the first quarter, but then he had 13 for the rest of the game. Klay Thompson had 15. Jordan Poole had an absolute stinker. Went 2 of 7. Really shut them down. The Boston Celtics are so good at switching on defense. Oh God, but in saying that, you cannot, you know, count this series over.
Within this game, so I had what was the time? It was about 10:30 this morning. A chat with a guy at work. His name's Al. Awesome guy. He comes in quite often, and we always chat. But we'll have big conversations about it, and I love having a chat to him.
Wasn't he playing game 1 at Sanford?
Well, I wish he was. No, Al here wanted to pull up a bar stool to watch it at work on the big TV there, but we could just kind of talking about how many games we think it's going to go. And I said to him, I initially had 7. I'm leaning towards 6 now. I think Warriors will close it out. He said, oh, yeah, I think I'm going to go Warriors in 5. So let me transition that to this. After seeing this game, the way it played out, getting that one on the road, have your predictions changed at all? Now, you both said Boston, didn't you?
Yeah,
Boston in 7.
Boston in 7 was the initial call.
Yep.
That one, it almost changes it a little bit, doesn't it?
Because getting that one early.
Yeah, and you go home and you probably think you're going to take that. Like, lid well and truly on.
Oh, stop it, quit it. That is about to blow off, mate.
If I was to change my call, it would probably be Boston in 6.
Boston in 4. Get the brooms out, mate.
Get the brooms out. No, Boston in 6.
Okay.
I feel like if it went to 7, even though we won at San Fran, like Game 7 in San Fran against Golden State, don't know how we'd go with that. Yeah. Boston in 6, maybe.
Oh, look out. All right, Lee.
I'm sticking with my Boston in 7 still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like one game doesn't change much for me.
No. That's it. Well, that's for me as well.
No. You're going to change it.
Warriors in 6. I'm staying with Warriors, but I'm just thinking, do I transition to 7 now? I think I'll stay Warriors 6, but I don't feel as comfortable as I did earlier on.
Okay.
Right. A couple of quick questions for you, lads. It's only one game, but who is your finals MVP at the moment?
I'm still going Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown?
Yeah. I said that last week, though.
No, just based on what you've seen today.
No, Jaylen Brown.
Sticking with Brown?
There's no chance Horf could...
Horfy. Absolutely, after today.
I think I was about to say Horfy has a little bit of smoky.
I'm saying Big Al. Basing it on today's game, what he did, especially with Tatum having a stinker, I'm going to say Horford. And to be honest, I'd almost penciled in. I was doing kind of some bits and pieces looking at this today, and I'd almost written in already Steph Curry. And I said him last week, just for the way he started, he would probably be, even in a losing effort, my number 2, just for the way he set this series alight.
Absolutely.
But Horford's taking the early chocolates for me.
Who would have thought Horfy? I wonder what his odds were.
Long.
Yes,
long odds. It would have been Tatum and Curry, ahead by a fair bit. Brown, ahead by a fair bit.
Probably Wiggins.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Would have been Horford very, very low on the food chain there, but awesome to see. Another question I've got here for you fellas. Now, I can ask this today. I can ask it next week. I'll ask it now, though. Do you think whichever way this series goes, whichever team loses the series, do you think we'll look to break things up? Now, before you go into it, so for the Celtics, they've come so close. They haven't been able to get over that hump with Brown and Tatum as the 2 at the helm. Do they look to maybe offload one, more responsibility for D. White, say, let's use Brown as the collateral here, bring in some other pieces to supplement Tatum, and try and run it back with that. For the Warriors, do they think, okay, the dynasty is essentially over. Let's shake it up. Let's, usher in this next wave of young guys. Clay can go. Curry, you can possibly look at going back to Charlotte there.
Imagine.
Okay.
Look at
Lee, the eyes are bing. But, there has been speaking about his ambition to hopefully end his career there.
Imagine.
But do they look to trigger some things in motion there if they lose? Do either team blow it up if they lose? Do you think?
I don't think so. And the only time that the only reality I could see that happening would be if they went out in 4. If Golden State went out in 4, and even if that did happen, I don't think they would. I think both teams, have come so close to winning this year. It'd be silly to break it up.
Yeah. For yourself, agreeing with that, Ro?
100% in the same boat. I don't see it. I don't see things falling apart for either team over the off season, despite whether it's a sweep. Lead on, definitely won't be a sweep. But the biggest move I could see maybe Golden State making, and I don't even know if they can make this move to be honest. But even a guy like James Wiseman, who's been on the pine for a lot of this season.
Sorry, but I saw a TikTok of James Wiseman flexing the Western Conference final.
Why is he?
And I was like, what are you doing? You're in your dress attire.
You don't like that?
I don't like that. He hasn't played the whole season. Come on.
I agree. As I thought about this, I think, I kind of think maybe more so almost if the Warriors win could be the key that, okay, that's kind of, we could run it back. But it kind of spells the end. Maybe you look to move on from a Clay or something. Just a thought I had.
What the Warriors aren't doing and what they won't do is get rid of any of the young pieces that they have, apart from James Wiseman, I think, who's already shown he can be a little bit injury prone. But there are other young players.
Kuminga, Moody, Poole. They're in good shape. They're in really good shape. It's awesome because we spoke about this at the start of the season. Go back and check that episode out just to kind of fact check us here. But we said, they're in a funny phase. Do they really commit to it, offload these youngsters? Do they go into the rebuild, or do they try and kind of have the best of both worlds? And that's what they've done, and they've executed it to perfection.
Yep.
If they, get this right and win this series, they have just pulled off an absolute masterstroke, being able to have their cake and eat it too.
Absolutely.
So looking forward to seeing how this plays out. Game 2 is here in Australia on Monday, then Game 3 on Thursday. So we'll be absolutely breaking down Games 2 and 3 next week. Wow, huge.
Oh,
huge.
Yeah.
I love it. NBA Finals. It's incredible.
Yep.
You know what's sad, though, just quickly?
Yeah.
That this is like, this stint of games, this is it.
Yeah,
and then
she's done and dusted.
It's break season.
For another season.
Some year it's been.
It's been a big one.
Fellas, let's move ahead.
The Daily Dribble.
The season might be ending soon, but the action is not. The news never stops here in the NBA, and we love it for that. Because the draft is coming up very, very shortly in July next month. It's just around the corner now.
Sorry, but Roy can't go without glasses. He was going blind.
You've pulled off this episode. What are we? 40 minutes into the piece without spectacles on. You feel like you need to read your notes for this one, so the goggles are back on.
Sorry, I might just need to take myself off mute. That might help. But a few notes. I might just chuck the old spectacles on so I can see.
Looking very astute now, ready to go.
Thank you very much.
Fellas, the return of Draft Deep Dive. We had our first installment last week, a segment where we're each going to pick a draft prospect and kind of give a bit of a scouting report, what we're on the lookout for them in the upcoming draft and where we think they'll fall in the pecking order there. As we said, it's a wicked opportunity to kind of take a look at these players who are going to be becoming household names very, very quickly. We had our first batch last week. Lee, you had...
I had Jabari Smith Jr.
Are you sure?
I thought you were about to forget the number.
I thought you were in for a real shocker there.
Yeah, he startled me.
I had Jayden Hardy.
And I had the man, the myth, the legend, Johnny Davis.
What a name. Guys, as we said during last week's installment, be sure to hit us up. Let us know what you think of these prospects, whether you think we've hit the nail on the head or where we've gone wrong. Let's get into it. Who wants to...
I went first last week. Someone else go first.
I'll go first.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
That's why I chucked the glasses on.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, so my man that I've gone with this week, I said I'd bring out a fun name this week.
Don't do it.
No, I've gone with Malachi Branham. Malachi.
Okay, that's all right. Sorry, Malachi. Okay. Malachi. So say that one more time again for us.
So his name's Malachi Branham.
What a name!
It is a good name. Like the surname's pretty sort of pedestrian, but the first name.
It's a
name. Who's the other Malachi in the league?
Flynn.
Yeah,
good.
Yes, almost got me. Yeah. So Malachi is 6'5" shooting guard out of Ohio State. So in his freshman season last year, he had 13.7 points per game, 3.6 rebounds, and 2 assists per game. So from a statistical point of view, nothing to write home about.
Yep.
But there is so much to look forward to for whoever picks this guy up.
On it.
From all reports, from all draft experts and analysts, this guy is one of the most reliable scorers in this draft. And not only is he one of the most reliable scorers, he can score in any which way he sees fit. So he's a guy who you'll see throughout when he gets drafted. I'm sure he'll get plenty of opportunity, but he's a guy who can go to the rim and finish. He's a really good finisher. So at the rim, he was 70% last year, but he can also light it up from 3, and he shot 41% from beyond the arc last season. So there's plenty to look forward to for this guy.
41%. That's
41.
Solid.
That is a absolute lighting it up. It is. And one thing that you're going to notice when this guy's on the court is his length and his wingspan. So he's got a wingspan of about 7 foot, which is going to be a problem for opposition guards in the league when he's out there. That's a hard matchup. I don't know if you've come up against many people with huge wingspans, but they're sort of difficult to match up on. Like the height thing is difficult in itself, but the wingspan is another side of things. So I think that's going to cause a few problems. Some other interesting notes that I've read about Malachi is He was the Big Ten Rookie of the Year as a freshman with St. Vince. With Ohio State.
Yep.
He attended St. Vincent Mary. We know the other big name who attended St. Vincent Mary in just prior to 2003, do we?
I do.
By the name of LeBron James.
Absolutely.
So he became the school's only winner of Ohio's Mr. Basketball Award. The only other guy who won that award was LeBron James.
How about that? How cool.
Mr.
Basketball.
Mr. Basketball.
Mr. Basketball. Imagine having that on your resume. Mr. Basketball.
I'd take that in a heartbeat.
What a big dick and a big name that is. Mr. Basketball.
Oh, yeah, lucky man.
Yeah.
And the other thing, he was the 4th all-time leading scorer in St. Mary history, which goes to show that his scoring output in high school was absolutely elite, and he's translated that over to his college ball. Yes, he averaged only 13 points, which is sort of modest, but I guess all reports are that he's going to come out and be a legitimate, reliable scoring option. Again, might not be the superstar that some of these guys will be, but he is going to be a really promising player, and I'm really excited to see who picks him up.
What range are we looking at?
That's what I'm asking.
What range? He's another guy similar to Johnny Davis last week, who some people have him at around the 8 to 9 mark. Some people have him around the 15 to 16
Feels
mark.
like it's a year for that, doesn't it? There's a lot of interchangeable pieces. You know, the top couple look pretty well set in stone, but there's a lot of moving parts from about 8 to 20.
I think so. I really think so. So, keep an eye on Malachi, because I feel like he's going to make an instant.
Brilliant to have
effect.
another Malachi in the league.
We need more Malachis.
What? Say my name, Nicholas. You have Nick.
Yes.
What's the short equivalent for Malachi? What's the kind of the
Mally?
Mal?
Meow?
Do you go with Mal?
Malcolm?
Yeah, interesting.
Kai?
Kai.
You could use any letter of
What's
that
his
surname.
last name?
Oh no!
We've been referring to him as Malachi this entire time.
He's a one-name guy, isn't he?
Yeah, Malachi Branham. We're not going to be calling him Ranzy.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. Another Malachi. I'm all for it in the league. Good pick there, Ro. Lee, do you want to go?
I'll go.
All right.
I was scared when Ro said it's a guy with an exciting name, because I'm confident in saying this guy has the most exciting name in the whole draft.
I know who you're going with.
Ty Washington. The name alone could put me in the Hall of Fame, to be honest. Ty Washington. He's out of Kentucky, 6'3" guard. Touted to be maybe not the number one guard in the draft, but probably top 3. He's touted to go about 11.
Yep.
This guy, the thing I love most about this guy is he's bringing the mid-range back. He lives in the mid-range, and you don't see
Ty from the mid-range. Look out.
You don't see many guards in the NBA shoot from the mid-range. The one that pops to mind is Chris Paul, but other than that, no one really lives there.
Mars a forward. Are we going to call him a forward? No,
I'm talking about small guards. He's 6'3". This guy pop shoots. It's so pretty from the mid-range because it just sinks in as well. Another thing he brings to the table is his float game.
Yep.
He's very pretty there, 57% on the floaters. He kind of reminds me a bit of Emmanuel Quickly in that aspect.
Sounds like you should put him in a dress and take him out to a steak dinner.
It's gorgeous.
I know it is, But no, it's a very good-looking floater, and I love any guard that has a good float game. Playmaking skills aren't something to look past as well. He always keeps his eyes up on transition. As soon as he gets the ball in transition, he's absolutely heaving it to whoever's under the basket.
Sending up pressure.
And he's also got some great defensive potential as well. It's probably not, the number one part of his game, but it's definitely there. One thing he does have to work on is his space creation. If he wants to get these mid-range shots up, he needs to work on creating a bit more space. And his driving is really not pretty. If we're talking about what is pretty, his driving isn't pretty.
Driving's ugly.
But that he's pretty young, so it just comes with experience and more time. But Ty Washington, you
don't really care about anything you've just said. You don't care about his floaters. You don't care about any of it. You just care for his name, don't you? That's what we're about here.
I'm so glad things panned out the way they did. I actually wrote something up about Ty, but I was thinking we were discussing funky names last week. I knew one of you blokes would have it, and I had to change it.
Ty, there you go. So. Yeah, all right. So what is he? He's a guard, 6'5",
6'3".
6'3". Okay. Where's he expected? Around the 12-ish
10,
range?
11, 12, 13.
Yeah, okay.
I would say I want him on the Hornets, but like we're not short in guards. Like we still haven't played James Bouknight that much.
I
was about to say he's gone missing, hasn't he?
Yeah. I don't know what they're doing.
Bookworm. Yeah.
the book.
His time will come, but
Just with I expect him to be, another guy who potentially might slide. Yes, he's sort of spoken about being around the 11, 12 mark, but there's also rumours of him slipping to as late as about the 19 to 20 mark.
Yep.
And that's because he didn't attend any of the scrimmages, which didn't go in his favour.
Okay,
So I think, he might be one guy who
trying to coast on his name a little bit.
I think he is. But
just quickly, what do you reckon, Lee? Backcourt there of the future, Bouknight and Tai.
Yeah.
Booker T.
Booker T.
They've got the name there ready to go.
Oh.
What do you reckon? Look out.
Geez, we bought
if you know, you know, don't you?
No, if you know, you know.
That sounds made up. Tai Washington. It's too good.
It is a good name. It is a good
Well
name.
done
Well,
to
I'm
his
looking
parents.
forward to seeing how that plays out. I tell you what, it's going to be electric getting him on 2K there. Just seeing the name Tai Washington pop up. Got a few Washingtons in the league now, don't we?
Who?
Oh, do we? We've got PJ.
PJ, yes.
I feel like there's more, isn't there? Or maybe not.
Yeah,
maybe.
I swear there's one like on Pacers or something.
Yeah.
But
I've lost it now.
No, we'll
but nevertheless, I'm looking forward to. I have heard a bit about him, and again, just another name that shows this kind of the movement this draft might hold in that 8 to 20 range.
Let's be honest. Would we be giving him as much attention if his name was Greg Smith?
No, I wouldn't.
No,
I wouldn't have thought so.
I don't think his draft stocks would be anywhere near as high either. Greg
no.
Smith, imagine having that name.
Oh,
My guy here has got a fun-ish name. I think it's fun.
I'll be the judge.
Funner than Tai Washington.
Usman Deng.
Dangy.
A guy who I was very fortunate to see this year. Actually,
I didn't see him,
I
unfortunately.
went up to Lonnie, got courtside seats for this one.
Must be nice.
I tell you what, he looked pretty good in the first half. I don't remember much in the second. I was buckled by that point. So,
he was running onto the court.
I think he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
But awesome to see him kind of, firsthand. It's kind of one regret I have of last season not seeing LaMelo Ball. A couple of seasons ago, seeing LaMelo Ball, seeing Josh Giddey in person. But getting to see Usman Deng there. 19 years old, just turned 19 in May, so he's one of the younger draft candidates. French as well. We love a Frenchman. He's a small forward, 6'9", 185 pounds, so he's got a pretty lean frame on him. Which I would like to see him add another 10 to 15 pounds. I'll mention that shortly.
Get into the Macca's drive-through, you reckon?
Oh, yeah, a couple of what's French? What do they call them in a Big Mac in France, Ro?
What's who they call him?
Lee?
Why just sound so shaky? Go ahead.
Have you guys seen Pulp Fiction?
What do they call it?
Royale with cheese.
Cheese, huh?
No,
Not
Pulp
as catchy.
Fiction. You not seen it?
Get some Royales with cheese
unfortunately
and
not.
Chet Holmgren, I'll tell you what.
No, that's might be a cheeseburger. But anyway, so he's similar to my player from last week, Jayden Hardy.
Yes.
He started the season really, really slow. And now what I take into account as well is the fact he's played in a grown men's league. This isn't college ball. There's not kids around his own age. There is some big, heavy hitters in this league, some big boys, like big units.
Yes.
So he's like Delhi. Not like Delhi, like Jarrell Martin. But he started the season very slow. So for his season stats, 9 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 40% from the field, and 27% from 3. Sounds pretty ugly. It does. I was looking at this and I was like, I didn't know it was that bad. But if you break that in half, so you just take into account the last 11 games, excluding the first 11, 14.2 points, 4.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 48.5% from the field, and 35.7% from 3.
That sounds better.
Sounds a lot better. Sounds befitting of a guy who's expected to go, reasonably high in the draft. We're looking between the 12 to 20 range, depending on what boards you look at.
Yep.
But so it just shows, it shows his ability to grow and learn within an organization. His confidence grew, and I hope that translates into the NBA here.
Yep.
His strengths, he's really good at operating in the pick and roll, and saw this firsthand in the game I went to. He was a real smooth operator there. He's got a really, as we just spoke about with Tai there, Lee, some name. He's got a really competent floater. It is, again, really pretty, and it's awesome because he's got almost this 3-pronged attack. His ability at the rim is his best attribute. He attacks the rim and puts it down really, really well. from the mid-range, that floater game is on lock. It is really smooth, and I think going to be one of the
6'9".
6'9".
6'9" with a float game.
With a float game.
Who is this guy?
He's a big unit.
I'm interested.
He's a bit different.
He's good. That's why you need to get to the NBL power.
Yeah.
You'll love it. He looked really good, and he's started the season slowly, but that outside game as well. He's quite a streaky shooter, but he does have that outside stroke as well.
Yep.
Now, he's for a big guy, his handle and passing are pretty, 6'9", he's a pretty big-sized human. His handle and his passing ability are quite tidy. They're not in a string by any means, but he's got a really good hezzy, and it enables him to make space for himself and to get these shots off or drive to the lane, which I like. He moves quite well laterally. And that was something I noticed, his lateral movement on the offensive end with that little hezzy and on the defensive end. Because he is quite mobile, he's got good size, but with that agility, he's able to guard most positions, which is becoming more and more of a kind of a prerequisite within the league. All the changing and switching, being able to guard multiple positions, huge. And he has that in spades. Weaknesses I've got here.
Constructive criticism.
Yeah, let's say that.
Yeah,
not
so
weaknesses.
So.
They are weaknesses.
Wow, aren't you, Mr. Optimism? That's glass half full stuff right there. I like it. He's streaky from 3-point range. He might have a real cold game and shoot bricks. Next game, he might hit 3 or 4 or whatever the case may be. So very streaky. His mechanics aren't great. They're not horrible, but I'm hoping once he's within an NBA franchise, they can help him iron that out a little bit more and just get that consistency happening again. Not a weakness. Yeah, positive criticism.
Yes.
For constructive criticism, he is very slim. He is a lean, mean fighting machine.
Yeah,
with his
absolutely.
size, another 10 to 15 pounds, it'll just open up his game a lot more offensively, being able to get in that lane and put a little bit of body on, as well on the defensive end. You're coming up against some big boys in the NBA. Rudy Gobert, Nikola Jokic. You don't want to be getting bodied against those guys weighing $185. So hopefully he can add to that in the off season here, get a bit of poundage on. Bit of poundage on. But yeah, so somewhere between 12 to 20 we're looking at for him.
Yes.
But he has got huge potential, especially on that defensive end. I think he'll really flourish. Awesome two-way player. Lateral movement is key for him. And I'm keen to see a little a floater off between Tai and Usman Dang.
I don't mind that. We might have to get that in the works.
And again, it's just awesome seeing another guy progress from the NBL, using that as their pathway to the NBA. It's wicked to see. So I'm very excited after seeing what he can do firsthand in person down here in the league, that translating to the NBA.
Don't know if you agree, Nick. Do you reckon Deng's going to be more of a project player than anything else? I feel like he's a guy who I see with quite big potential, to be perfectly honest.
A lot of reports are having him as one of the players with possibly the highest potential. Not like he's going to be good from the get-go, but his ceiling is really high.
6'9" blokes aren't meant to move like him.
No.
That's the first thing you'll notice. His dexterity and just his agility, as you're mentioning before, it sort of looks strange. Like you don't expect for him to be able to move like that, and I think it's going to cause. He looks like
he should be clunky, doesn't he?
He does.
Especially seeing him in person, like from nearly meter you away, from that close, and just seeing the way he moves, like it's very
the same
flowy.
It's the same with the guy I put up last week, Jabari Smith Jr. He's 6'10" and moves like a guard. It's becoming more frequent, but we definitely haven't really seen it before. I had a question.
Yeah, please.
Would you rather? Let me word
a little. Would you rather? Here we go.
Let me word it different. Do you have more faith in someone awfully not underweight, but such a skinny frame going into the league, or too big of a frame? And when I say too big, I mean a bit too big on there.
I think skinny.
I'd say skinny as well.
Yeah.
I feel like most guys coming into the league are quite, well, then they're certainly not at their peak weight that they will be throughout the course of their career. Most of these guys are at 18, 19 coming into the league. Then even though they're huge units in terms of height, then a lot of them don't really have much to them, sort of like, wet paper bags.
Yeah, I'll tie it in with myself, like playing sports firsthand. I'm a pretty slim build. I go to the gym every day and putting on muscles like goddamn. It is hard. But I love it. I love getting body on body. Like I'll hit anyone as hard as the next bloke. Like, I will go in. So,
bit of an aggressive operator.
Just speaking for myself, I don't think that's a deterrent with the slider build. And I think for these blokes, once they're in a system, that it'll be a lot easier for them to put on muscle and just grow that side of their game, as opposed to, you know, I don't. Not many blokes you see now come into the league overweight.
Yeah,
with all the scouting and things like that, it's
not necessarily saying he was overweight when he came into the league, but like Zion Williamson, for example, he comes into the league and he's probably at a weight which is equivalent to most NBA
small
players.
truck.
Yeah, to a small
big boy.
But, you know, we've seen what can happen with that. You know, his weight was only going to go up as he went into the league and, you know, did more, you know,
cook meals every day at practice.
Yeah, has a bit more money to his
like
name.
a steak dinner. No, I don't mean that. We love Zion.
We do love him.
He's almost an outlier, though, because of his freakish athleticism. Guys that size don't move that well.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Tell you what, though, I can't wait to see him back in the league with this Pelicans team. And we have been ripped off so far of the Zion experience, because he's meant to be all-time talent. And you see the flashes, but just need to get the big boy on the court.
Yes.
Couple of bags of lettuce into him. He'll be all right. he'll be all right. Fellas, I tell you what, who was your pick there, Lee?
Ty.
Rowe?
No.
Malachi Branham.
Absolutely.
Can we just refer to him as Malachi?
We'll go with that. Malachi. And I had there Usman Deng. Yep. Guys, another 3 prospects who we're incredibly excited about, following on off the back of last week's 3. We're now starting to build up a bit of a knowledge base of these next stars coming into the league, all set to unfold next month. We'll do this again next week. We've still got some.
It's like one of my favorite segments, because like you get to actually get some knowledge into the draft.
You almost like these players. We're probably going to follow a little bit more through their career and next season. Like, you know, these are players that we had a vested interest in. So, it's we should almost because bloody Lee did the number 1 pick. I was about to say we should put him in a hat and kind of, I guess, have a rookie of the year, little bet on it. Like, between ourselves.
Yeah,
I don't mind that. Yeah.
I'm not so keen now that Lee's nabbed off the number 1 pick.
Let me just say, I'm very glad that Lee got his scuba gear on this week and dove a little deeper down into the dark blue, because I tell you what,
diving.
He just dipped his toe in last week.
You're
I forgot that it was called Deep Dive.
It was a working name, wasn't it?
It was a working name. It wasn't set in stone, but
that's what
you're out here with the big boys now, Lee.
Yeah, that's it.
Fellas, it has been some week of action from the NBA. A couple of NBL notes there. Basketball is running rampant. The NBA finals are here, and we are loving it. Massive week for us. Massive week for you, my man. How you feeling? You feeling good? You feeling pumped? Putting the lid back on. There you go. Lock it up, big boy.
Lid's well and truly on.
Okay, let me pose this before we wrap up. If you guys take game 2 in the Bay Area, 2-0 up on the road, going back to Boston, is the lid coming off? Yeah, there it is. It's getting just cracked open.
It's getting a little bit loose.
I tell you what. It's going to be some week. Monday, game 2. Guys, next week, we're going to bring all the news from games 2 and 3.
Yes.
Do draft deep dive once again. There's going to be a lot to break down. I can't wait. I'm so pumped.
Oh, it's going to be a big week.
So where's the next game at? Is it at Boston?
Yeah, no, in the Bay Area, mate.
The Bay again.
First 2, then the second 2 in Boston.
All right.
But guys,
Lee doesn't want it to be there.
I mean, if they take that one in the Bay again,
that's a big thing. Oh, look out! Turn it down, guys. As always, be sure to stay up to date with all of our socials. Lee, give us the fingers: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok,
and LinkedIn.
You're our LinkedIn man, absolutely, guys. Like, share, subscribe wherever you listen to the show. We certainly appreciate it. Run those numbers up. We love seeing it. It means the world to us. So keep doing that. Until next week. I just can't stop smiling. I love the NBA finals. Guys, till next week, from myself, Lee and Rowe. Love you. Bye.